You are welcome to this channel. Don't forget to like, to share, and also to subscribe. In the news today, Fubara dissolves Rivers Microfinance Board, appoints Tobin as acting MD. Rivers State Governor Simlaye Fubara has dissolved the board of Rivers State Microfinance Agency just days after disbanding the Rivers Pension Board, signaling a swift overhaul of state agencies. The Microfinance Agency Board, inaugurated in August 14, 2025 by former Sole Administrator Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas retired and chaired by Professor Adolphus Toby, was among 8 agencies established during the state's 6-month emergency rule. In a statement signed by the head of service, Dr. Nyingi Brown, Fubara announced the immediate appointment of Pastor Jonathan Tobin as the acting managing director of the agency. The statement directed members of the dissolved board to hand over all agency properties and assets to Toby, adding that the governor will reconstitute the board in due course. The dissolution follows Ruara's recent move to dissolve the pension board, with the state's accountant general tasked to oversee its activity until further notice. These actions coming as Rivers State transitions from emergency rule imposed by the President Bola Tinubu reflects Fubara's push to realign state institutions with its administration's priority amid lingering political tensions. Well, in this news that Fubara has returned to power, I think his job now is to remove everything that has to do with sole administrator and then bring in his own men. But there is need for us to have a sit down and think. I will, for example, advise the governor Similaye Fubara to look inward and then check whatever he's trying to do. Let it be on objectivity and not on sentiment. Of course, nobody is going to blame the governor because his hands, for example, has not been in there for 6 months, and for him to come back to have full grasp of situation and understanding of what is going on, he needs his own people who can give him the right information, because at this point in his political career, he doesn't trust anybody anymore. In fact, he's going to find it very, very difficult even to play the trust game as far as he is concerned. So he coming forward to dissolve the board of Rivers Microfinance and also other boards is not a new thing. But then in trying to do this thing, there is a general say that when we are crying, we still see. I think Governor Fubara should not totally, in quote now, in the name of overhauling and trying to put things right, throw away people who are, by the reason of the fact that they find themselves on one board or the other, in one agency or the other, throwing them away. Those who may become material for him that will help his administration to come out with flying colors successfully. So he needs to exercise caution while trying to do that. And while he is going to do that, nobody is going to blame him for doing such a thing, because, for example, now none of us know what he met on ground as soon as he came, because he will still be checking the balance sheet and looking at the records and the accounts, and then he might have known what he left and where he has what the level of work done. Then he will begin to compare if there are changes even in the financial statement of the state, which is obvious must happen. I think you need to now put it side by side with the processes of work done. If it is in tandem, no problem. But if there are unnecessary large disparity, of course, it's going to call for concern. Even though the so-called sole administrator has come and gone, his own business now is with the president who appointed the sole administrator. And that means it is Rivers State that will have been at a loss if he has not done well. But be it as it may, he knew that his own men will still be on ground. There are some certain civil servants that he might have promoted, another political office holder or people outside, the state citizens that are not within the civil service that might be members of this particular governing board of different agencies, and if he might not feel comfortable working with them, so he has every right, yes, under democracy, to remove them. After all, he's not taking away civil servants, he's only removing people who were, appointed into boards. Of course, nobody is going to blame him. But then, while those things are being done too, he shouldn't, close his eye completely so as not to have unnecessary leakage again. While they want to leave, of course, it's funny that some people, as far as the country is concerned, they love to, rip off the country. So the governor, yes, to some political analysis, is on the right track. But then whoever he has, appointed to be acting should also try as much as possible to replicate the same thing his boss is doing, trying to check books. I'm not saying they should begin to fire, trying to check what he met on ground, and then let that objectivity form the basis of his decision. Very, very important, because if he does not do that, he's not going to help the swift, overhaul that the governor is trying to do in all these state agencies. Very, very important. And some people will even raise the question of the fact that this so-called microfinance agency board was inaugurated in August. Now we are in October. Did not even spend 2 months and they are being dissolved. Now, is it fair or not unfair? Well, that's a question for another time. Whether it is fair or not fair is left to the governor. In fact, it is even easier for one to ask question that why will the sole administrator appoint a board when probably there are some board before, members of the board before, except in a situation whereby the tenure of those people on the board expired in the course of that 6 months, that he was now compelled even to appoint new set of people. Aside from that, if he fired the ones that are there, or let's use the word dissolved, and he decided to bring his own, of course, what is good for the geese is also good for the gander. The governor Fubara also has every right even to dissolve the ones the administration put in there and bring in another one, maybe on the basis of the fact that those are the ones that can work with each of them. The ones that the administration put there are loyal to him and they'll be able to work with him. And now the ones that will be loyal to Governor Fubara will be able to work with him will be the ones now that you will now bring in even to manage the affairs of the state along with him. Very, very important. In his statement, signed by the head of service, Dr. Inyingi Brown, Fubara announced the immediate appointment of Pastor Jonathan Tobin as the acting managing director of the agency, and that directed all members of the so-called board that has been dissolved to hand over all agency properties and assets to Tobin, adding that the governor will reconstitute the board in due time. And that's another area. Let him make sure you do the right thing at the right time. Keep liking our channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you share. Thank you.